A South Hadley woman handed felony charges after police say she used a knife during a fight with her ex-husband. Officers were called to a home last Thursday afternoon, so 1 week ago, after the man living there reported that his ex-wife assaulted him with a large kitchen knife. When she was being arrested, the ex-husband tried intervening, leading to a brief altercation with a police officer. Authorities haven't released the names of the ex-husband and wife, but we do know both of them are facing charges. The woman, a felony charge for assault with a dangerous weapon. The man, assault and battery and interference with a police officer.